They said he'd never make it. He wasn't rich, wasn't lucky, wasn't even smart, but he had something the world forgot: patience. This is the story of Ethan, the man who learned that sometimes magic doesn't come fast, it grows slowly. Ethan lived in a quiet American town called Willowbrook. People there moved fast, chasing money, success, likes, and luck. But Ethan? He moved slow, maybe too slow for a world that had no time. He owned a small patch of land. Every year he planted his crops, and every year storms ruined them. The town folks laughed. Ethan, patience won't grow corn. But Ethan never fought back. He just smiled and said, maybe next season will be better. People thought he was naive, but Ethan knew anger kills patience faster than failure. His best friend Luke told him, man, this patience thing of yours, it's gonna break you. Ethan chuckled, or maybe it's gonna make me. That year his crops failed again. No corn, no money, no hope. But instead of quitting, Ethan started fixing his fences and clearing the weeds, like he was already planning his comeback. He's wasting his life, the old man said at the diner. You can't survive on patience. But Ethan just kept showing up, quiet, calm, consistent. One night, Ethan found an old letter from his late father. It read, son, patience is not waiting. It's trusting that the seed you planted will bloom when it's time. The next morning, he started over: new seeds, new hope, same patience. The ground was tough, but so was he. One evening, an old traveler stopped by his farm asking for water. Ethan welcomed him, shared dinner, and said, you look tired, sir. The man smiled. And you look patient, the traveler said softly. The world rushes for results, but the soil listens only to patience. Then he left before sunrise without saying goodbye. A few weeks later, thunder rolled again, another storm coming. People told him to give up, but Ethan whispered to himself, I've seen worse skies. Days turned into weeks. His fields looked dead. Everyone stopped believing everyone except Ethan. One morning, the first green sprout pushed through the cracked soil. Ethan dropped to his knees, tears mixed with rain. Weeks later, the fields turned alive. The same people who laughed before now stopped to watch in silence. His patience had finally paid off, not with luck, but with growth. His harvest wasn't just crops, it was faith reborn. The same men from the diner came by. Guess patience does grow corn, one said, smiling. Ethan just laughed. Told you slow magic works too. Soon everyone started planting again, this time slower, kinder, more grateful. Ethan had changed more than his field. He'd changed hearts. Months later, the same old traveler passed by again. Ethan said, you were right. Patience is magic. The traveler smiled. No, son, you are. That night, as fireflies danced over his field, Ethan realized the magic wasn't in time or luck or rain. It was in the patience that kept him standing when everything else fell apart. The season ended beautifully. Ethan's field was full, his heart even fuller. He thought the hard times were over, but life had another plan waiting just ahead. Late one evening, a small fire broke out near his barn. The winds carried the flames fast, too fast. Ethan ran, shouting, trying to save what he could, but by dawn it was all gone. Man, that guy's cursed, someone said. He finally had everything and lost it again. Ethan said nothing. He just stared at the ashes, whispering, not this time. I'll rebuild. Most people quit after one fall. Ethan? He'd fallen 3 times, and each time he got back up slower but stronger. His friend Luke drove over, shaking his head. You can't be serious, man. You're really gonna start again. The days grew longer, his hands rougher. He worked sunrise to sunset, rebuilding fences, replanting seeds, all alone. One night, sitting under the stars, he whispered, maybe patience doesn't work every time. But then he remembered his father's words. Patience is not waiting. It's believing. The old traveler returned again, quiet as always. Still fighting the world, he asked. Ethan replied, no, just learning how to wait with purpose. The old man handed him a small wooden box. Open it when you're ready to give up, he said, and left once more into the dark. Weeks turned to months. The rain was late, the soil cracked, the crops drooped. Ethan could almost feel patience slipping from his hands. One night he sat on the porch, head down, whispering, maybe they were right. Maybe patience isn't magic after all. That's when he remembered the traveler's box. He opened it slowly. Inside was just a mirror and a small note. The magic was never outside you. In that moment, something shifted. He realized patience wasn't about waiting for the rain, it was about trusting himself through the drought. Ethan knelt down and whispered, "If patience is faith, then I'm not giving up." And from that night, he worked not for success but for peace. A few days later, dark clouds rolled in. The wind howled and the first drop of rain hit his hand. He looked up and laughed. Guess patience still got a little magic left. The rain came all night, gentle, kind, healing. In days, the dead soil turned green again. People from nearby towns came to see the miracle field. A week later, Ethan found another note under a stone near his door. It said, "Patience doesn't change time, it changes you." From that day, Ethan wasn't the same. He spoke softer, worked slower, and smiled even when things didn't go his way. People began asking him for advice. He'd say, "Don't rush the rain. Don't fight the storm. Grow roots instead." And somehow everyone listened. That night, Ethan stood by his green field under a quiet sky. The same soil that once failed him now glowed like gold under the moonlight. And for the first time, he truly understood patience was never slow magic. It was strong magic. The next season came easy. Not because the land changed, but because Ethan did. He no longer chased results, he grew with time. One by one, the villagers started to follow his way. They worked slower, smiled more, and somehow their fields grew too. One morning, a little boy came to Ethan and asked, "Sir, what's the secret?" Ethan chuckled. "Kid, the secret is don't rush the sunrise." That summer, the town held a festival to honor the man who grew hope. But Ethan refused to take the credit. "I didn't teach you farming," he said. "I just reminded you to breathe." One evening, as laughter filled the streets, a familiar voice called, "Looks like patience finally paid off, huh?" The traveler was back, older, slower, but still smiling. Ethan and the traveler sat on the porch watching fireflies. Ethan said softly, "You knew all along, didn't you?" The old man smiled. "No, I just believed you'd find out." The traveler whispered, "People think patience is waiting for the world to change, but true patience is changing yourself while the world stays the same." That night, neither spoke again. The silence between them said more than words ever could. When Ethan woke up next morning, the traveler was gone. On the table lay another note. "The world will rush. Stay slow." Years passed. Ethan started teaching young farmers the slow field method. It wasn't farming advice, it was life advice. Then came another drought, worse than before. But this time nobody panicked. They remembered Ethan's words, "Be still. The rain always remembers." And sure enough, the rain came slow, steady, forgiving. The land smiled again. Ethan grew old. His beard turned white, but his smile stayed young. He often said, "Patience isn't something you learn, it's something you live." One spring morning, he planted a single seed. "This one's for the future," he whispered. That evening, a soft wind passed through the valley, as if the earth itself whispered thank you. Ethan passed away quietly one night, under the same stars he once prayed beneath. No noise, no fear, just peace. Years later, the seed he planted became a massive oak tree. Strong, calm, patient. Children played under that tree. When they asked about it, the elders said, "That's where patience grew roots." One day, an old traveler passed through the valley again. He stopped under the same tree, smiled, and said softly, "You did it, kid." The camera pans out the tree standing tall in golden light. The traveler's voice echoes, "The magic of patience isn't waiting for miracles, it's becoming one."